Sarah. How are you?
Good morning, Andrea.
Welcome to our webinar and good morning and good afternoon to everybody who has joined us. We're really happy to have you here. Happy April. Okay, let's begin. Again, welcome everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us today in our Home Express webinar series. Today, we're very excited because we are presenting how to navigate through our redesigned X Connect. As you all know, we've been kind of rolling out our new price-based X Connect portal, and finally, we've rolled it out completely. Everybody is on it, and we're very, very excited. So, you might have been already walking through the portal with your account executive, but we wanted to just kind of get everybody together, navigate through it, and see if there's any questions that we can help answer for you. Again, here is our disclaimer. So thanks again for your support and understanding. As you can see here, Mr. David Greider is not on the call today. I guess we are allowing him to have some time off. I don't know,
We
but
gave him some PTO
I
today.
guess we did. I guess we did. So I hope he's enjoying it, but we're definitely going to miss him. But Sarah, thank you so much for joining everybody. We have Sarah Walker on, who's our Director of Marketing here at Home Express, and she's actually going to demo the portal for you. I will turn it over to you.
So here is our newly redesigned X Connect. We're so excited to be able to share this with everybody today. This has been a year in the making for Home Express. We've really made a huge effort here at the company to try to make the user experience better for everybody. And we appreciate you joining us today for this opportunity to take a tour of it. The Q&A will be open, so if there's any questions that you have during, feel free to go ahead and put your question in and we will try to answer it during the webinar. I wanted to jump right in and just get going with logging in. If you haven't been on the portal since March 16th, you will need to reset your password, and you can do that directly on the website. If you haven't logged in a while, we do have a chat bot available down here if you ever need assistance. I'm going to go ahead and log in. If you don't know your password or need to reset your password, you just use the forgot password link right here, and it will go directly to your email, the link. Okay, so here's the newly designed X Connect. As you can see, it looks a little bit different. The view will automatically end up on your pipeline when you log in. Scenarios, let's get started with scenarios. How to do a scenario, how to price a loan. Come up here to the navigation pane across the top. Select pricing tool. This is where you can create all your different scenarios and save them so you can refer back to them later. So let's do a scenario. I'm going to do DSCR, DSCR 1 year prepay for Mr. Brady. He has a 740 credit score. He is a US citizen. We are going to be closing in the name of an entity for this business purpose loan. We don't need self-employment information, obviously, because we're qualifying off the property's income. He doesn't have a bankruptcy, and we don't have any mortgage delinquency. For loan purpose, this is where you select what kind of transaction you're doing. We're going to do a purchase on this one. What type of loan we're doing? We're going to be doing a business purpose loan. DSCR loans are business purpose, so we need to make sure that we select business purpose. Okay, what's our purchase price? Let's say 500. Let's do 400 for our loan amount. We're going to select DSCR, obviously. And sometimes when you are pricing loans, you get going so quickly that you overlook some of the fields. I'm going to do that while I'm demonstrating the pricing so that you can see if you're not getting eligible pricing, we can go in and solve and see why we're not getting eligible pricing. For right now, I'm just going to do a 1 DSCR. And let's make sure our occupancy is correct, investment property. We're going to do single family. If you have other property types, condo, units, this is where you want to select it. And then let's put in a zip code. I'm going to put in the zip code that we're in here. It will automatically populate the state for you when you put the zip code in there, as well as the county. None of these options will apply at this point. We can do that on a different scenario. And then let's say we want to also look at interest only. As you can see, I don't know if anybody of you saw, but when you select interest only over here on the term, it automatically selects the 40-year term for you. So that's very helpful when you're wanting to give the borrower different pricing options. Prepay, let's just leave the prepay at 36 months because that's our standard prepay. And then we're going to do borrower paid compensation on this one. Okay. No one's really doing variable rates right now, so we just leave it at fixed to make it easy. So then you hit search down over here in the right-hand corner. Okay, so here we go. We have 0 products eligible. That's not good. We have 0 non-traditional eligible products, and we have 79 ineligible. So let's go over here, and when you come over here to your pricing adjustments and you see where it says disqualify, you want to click on that and look at why it's disqualified, okay? Investor X is our business purpose program here at Home Express. So let's choose Investor X and look at disqualify right here. So let's open that box so we can see what's doing. You scroll all the way down to the bottom and it'll tell you the disqualification reasons. So let's look at what it says. Oh, reserves. So looks like we require 6 months reserves, and I forgot to select that drop down. So let's close this out and we go back up to our search fields because we want to open back up our scenario that we created. And let me find where the reserves are. Where are they? Let me see. Let me search around here. Okay, here they are. So let's select 6 months because that was my disqualifier. The disqualifier was 6 months. So let's select that and search again. Okay, great. So we have 1 eligible non-traditional mortgage product, and that is the Home Express Investor X product. So how do we expand pricing? So we have an eligible product. That's great news. Maybe we're on the phone with a borrower and we want to actually quote them a rate. So how do we find all the rates that are available? You hit this little green flag right here. It looks like we have 20 options available. So just click on that green flag and that will show you all of your pricing options. It does have your payment calculation, and if you were doing it at a cost, that's here in this column. Whenever we're doing business purpose and we're qualifying off of DSCR, your DTI is always going to show a very strange percentage. So that's not going to affect your pricing. So don't be alarmed by a 245,000% DTI percentage because we're doing DSCR. That will come into play a little bit more when we're doing consumer purpose, where we're using income on those loans. Okay, and if you want to check your lock period or your LLPAs, let's say you're looking at this pricing and you're thinking, wow, that rate's too high or it's too low, something doesn't look right, maybe I missed something in my pricing. You can always click under the pricing adjustment column right here, and that will show your LLPAs. Okay, so it shows a breakdown of all your LLPAs. You can just double check that the parameters that you put in for that loan are correct. Okay, let me show you how to save. So you're on the phone with a borrower, you quoted them some pricing, you quoted them a P&I payment, because this is only going to show P&I payment, and you quoted them whatever points potentially that they were going to pay. So I want to save this. So right down here over in the lower left-hand corner, this is where you save. Okay, and it'll save your scenario in your scenario pipeline so you can refer back to it. Now, initially, I wanted to do a 1-year prepay. I had selected a 3-year prepay. Now I want to go change it and hit save again, and that will resave the scenario with a 1-year prepay. So you can save as many scenarios in here as you want. If you want to do 50 scenarios for the same borrower, you can absolutely do that. Let's go back to the pipeline view, the home screen, and then let's see if our scenarios are saved in there. Here we go, there they are. So those are the 2 scenarios that we just saved. You can choose to register your loan from here. It'll take you to the register a loan screen. But let's do one more scenario. I want to do one more as a demonstration. So Home Express not only offers non-QM products, but we also offer agency products. So you do see options for conventional FHA and VA products. So let's do an FHA product this time. Let's do Newton FHA purchase is what I want to save this one as. And I want to do a credit score for an FHA loan of, let's say, 550. Okay. Citizenship obviously will be US. Vesting type has to be individual. Obviously, when we're doing consumer purpose, let's not do any bankruptcy history for this one, and no housing events because we're doing an FHA purchase. Purchase. Again, if you wanted to select other terms, you could here. Fixed or variable, again, people aren't really doing variable rates right now, so that will just stay fixed on the fixed term for you to make it easy. And if we're doing FHA, obviously that's going to be consumer purpose, so we will select consumer purpose. Let's do 500 loan amount again. And let me figure what 90% is for 500. 50. Okay. We're going to do borrower paid mortgage insurance. And is the upfront MIP going to be financed? Yes, of course it is. Nobody wants to come in with that chunk of money. And we're going to do a full doc, obviously, because this is FHA. We'll do no reserves for now. Let's see what we get. So let's put our monthly income for a $500,000 purchase. Let's do it at $9,000 a month. And let's do our monthly expenses at $1,000 a month. We'll do a California zip code. Single family, primary residence, that's going to all stay the same. And we're going to do borrower paid. Well, let's do lender paid on this one. That way we decrease the closing costs. So let's do lender paid at 1.5. Okay, and then you hit, if you want to save this one, if you're doing a scenario that's a lot of detail, you can always save it here first, right? You can hit save and it'll automatically save it. And then you can go in and start making some revisions and save a second version if you'd like. Uh-oh, got an error here. So let's go in and try to fix it. How do we fix this error? 9 times out of 10, that error that we see, it's normally a zip code error in my experience. So let's look through our scenario and see what else we could potentially change for this. What we would need to adjust. I'm going to lower my monthly expenses to 0. Potentially that was a DTI issue, and then let's try it again. Hmm. Let's add some reserves here. This one is not my friend this morning. I am doing this in a testing environment, so I'm not sure if all the functionality is in here for this. So let's switch this up from FHA to non-QM, because I do know that that is fully functional in here. Let's switch this up to a non-QM loan and go bank statements for this one. Yeah, this one isn't liking this. Take the lender paid out. Let's lower the loan amount here and see if that gets us to where we need to be. There we go. Okay, so we do have some pricing. We do have ineligible pricing. So let's go on and see why we're ineligible. So we can start with conventional here. Why are we ineligible for conventional? Full doc only. Obviously, I went back in and changed that to bank statements. So you can't do bank statements on a conventional loan. Let's look at our Primex, which is one of our non-QM products. Okay, to go non-QM here. Oh, I missed the self-employment box. So if we're going non-QM bank statements, the borrower obviously has to be self-employed to use bank statements to qualify. That is something that I do almost every single day. I miss that self-employment box. So the self-employment box is right over here. So this is where you select how long the borrower has been self-employed. Okay, so let's go back in and adjust what our disqualifier was, and let's reprice. You can go back and forth on this as many times as you want. You just need to go back in and double check why you're ineligible. And go back in and tweak your scenario until you get pricing. Okay, so on our Primex product, Primex requires 6 months of reserves. I don't have 6 months of reserves on this purchase. So let me go in and check another product. Let's try the Corex product. Why are we ineligible here? Okay, 6 months reserves also required. So let me go back to my scenario and make that adjustment. Now let's see what happens. Great, we have 2 eligible products. Now you can go back in and decide which one would be better for your borrower. If you have some questions as to what the difference is between Corex and Primex, you probably want to reach out to your Home Express account executive, and they can go over the reserve requirements, housing history requirements, or other requirements that will be needed for that scenario. Let's go back to our scenario and save, just so we can refer back to that one in the future. So just because you get an error popping up, it doesn't mean that you're not going to ever be able to get pricing. Just keep going in and tweaking your scenario. Again, sometimes that box that you saw, that sometimes is due to zip code. So usually start there first, and then go in and just start tweaking your scenario. And if you still can't get through it, you can always reach out to your Home Express account executive for help. Anybody have any questions on pricing alone in our new XConnect portal? If you do, you can put it in the Q&A. So
Sarah, I don't see any questions so far
Okay.
for that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So let's go back to the home screen. Okay, let's move on to our registration pipeline. This is where you can register a loan with Home Express. And I want to remind everybody that on registrations, we do not disclose. We don't disclose until you go all the way through to submitted. Okay. So on registrations, this is where you're going to be able to select income desk analysis. So if you are coming to Home Express for non-QM products and you are using bank statements and you do need to get those bank statements analyzed, you're going to do that here in the registration pipeline. So let's select this one. Actually, I'm going to do one from the beginning. So let's go to register a loan. Okay. This is where you want to upload your 3.4 file. And you also have the option where you can select from a scenario that you saved. You can just go in here, it'll show all the scenarios that are saved under you, and you can refer back to that and it'll pull that information in. So you come in here and you grab your MISMO file. You want to hit continue. You do have the option on this screen as well. Let's say you're on the phone with a borrower and you haven't created your 3.4 file in your own LOS system yet, and you're on the phone with somebody and you want to take their application right then and there because you know you're going to send that loan to Home Express. You have the option on this screen, on the register a loan screen, to just take the application right here in our portal. It's a great feature that we added in our newly designed portal, and we hope that people use it. Okay, so this is the import from my 3.4 file. So here's some basic information. I need to assign it to a loan officer, and then we go ahead and we hit register. Whenever you're registering a loan and you need to do income desk analysis, my advice to you is to, once the file uploads into the portal, is just go straight to the pricing screen right away. Because since we have so many different variations of income products here at Home Express, we need to be able to point you in the right direction with regards to the income desk analysis. So always go straight to the pricing screen so you can select your income type. Because again, we do agency and we also do non-QM products and we do business purpose. So the income is going to determine whether or not that income desk box is going to pop up for you on the navigation pane. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about right now. So it looks like the loan was successfully uploaded, our 3.4 file. So let's go back to our home screen. And we're going to go back to our registration pipeline. Okay, so this is the one that was just uploaded on 4/4 at 10:23. So let's go into that one. You can see it's the very first one right on top. Okay, and like I said, so over on your left navigation pane, this is where you want to go in here and select your income type. As you can see, there is no income desk here when you first go into the loan after you've registered it. So even though you have some red here and some red here, let's go straight to the pricing screen so that you can get your income desk analysis to show. Okay, so we need to fill in some of these fields. Okay, we want to do bank statements, right? Mr. Tom Brady is self-employed. And let's not forget that self-employment box, because if we're doing bank statements, the borrower does have to be self-employed. This is something I miss on a regular basis. Don't feel bad if you miss it. I do daily. Okay, so most of the information imported from your 3.4 file. So let's just give it a quick once over and make sure that everything is correct how you want it. No reserve selected. Let's just put some in there. the system, just so you are aware, when we're looking at expenses and DTI, the system will include the P&I payment in your DTI calculation. So these numbers that you enter here or that were in your 3.4 file, it will include the P&I payment, not the PITI, but the P&I payment. So just be mindful of that. If you're getting a disqualifier for DTI, you want to come back into your scenario screen and adjust maybe some of your payments or your income. Okay, everything ported over. So let's just hit search. Oh, my FICO disappeared. There we go. Okay, we have nothing eligible, so let's go in and see why. Let's check on Primex first. Let's scroll down here. Oh, look, we did get a disqualifier for DTI. So as I was talking about before, we need to probably go in and make some adjustments because the portal is factoring in the P&I payment for the subject. And as you can see, Mr. Brady is buying a $4.2 million house. So that's going to have a pretty hefty payment. We need to probably go back and make sure that the income that we had in our 3.4 file is accurate or close. Oh, looks like we need 12 months reserves on this one too. That's most likely due to his large loan size. So let's go in and make those adjustments to our pricing. So just close out of this screen, go back to your search fields, and let's go in and change some of these parameters. Yep, he is buying a $4.2 million house. So let's, whoa, our income is definitely not enough. So let's go in and change that so we can get pricing. Because remember, right now, what we're trying to do is to get the bank statements calculated. And to do that, I'll show you what we have to do on the next screen. To do that, we need to be able to export pricing so that income desk box will pop up over on the left-hand navigation panel. Okay, still not enough. Let's see. Oh, we forgot to change our reserves. That's right, forgot to change reserves. Let's go in and make that change. There we go. All right, so we have some eligible pricing here. At this point, we're just trying to pre-qualify this borrower, so it really doesn't matter what program or pricing you have, but at least it's kind of getting you in a certain direction where you have some information about pre-qualifying that borrower that you can communicate to the borrower next time you talk. So in order to have the income desk show, I'm going to show you what to do. This is very critical. If you do a lot of non-QM bank statement loans, you have to know how to do this. So let's go in and select some pricing. Again, at this point, it doesn't matter what you select. We're not disclosing on a registration, so it doesn't matter what rate you select. As you can see, I wanted to show this as a little tip or a trick for people. See how it's cut off on the side over here? I want to be able to see what the rest of that is without having to scroll down here. So a lot of times I have to tell people this every day. If you go to your browser, go to your zoom on your browser, and if you zoom out just a little bit, look, you can see everything. So if it looks smushed on the screen when you're navigating in XConnect, just zoom out a little bit on your browser and then you should be able to see everything. And if you wanted to look at your LLPAs, if you're looking just first glance, looking at the pricing and you say, oh, wow, that pricing's really good, it's really low, or why is that so high? You can always come over here and look at your LLPAs and make sure that the scenario ported over correctly from your 3.4 file. Okay, I'm just going to select 7.5. Okay. And in order to get that income desk to pop up over here, what you have to do is you have to take an action. You have to export your pricing. Okay. Exporting your pricing saves it and it updates our system on the other end. So once you register a file, it actually goes into our system. And when you export the pricing, it saves the doc type, it saves the interest rate that you're selecting, and it saves everything in our system on the back end. Okay, and if you do a rollover, you can see export pricing. So you have to perform this function in order to do your income desk analysis. Okay, yes, I confirm. Again, we don't disclose on a registration, so you can do this a multitude of times and the loan will get disclosed. Okay, great. So our export was successful. Just give it a minute to update. Again, it's communicating with our internal system. So it does take at times a minute. It shouldn't take longer than a couple minutes ever. So you give it just a moment too. Okay. If you could see over here on the left navigation pane, our income desk review box popped up. So here is where we can go in and we can request our bank statement analysis. So you can continue pre-qualifying that borrower. So this is our income desk. And if some of you have been doing business with Home Express for a long time, you are familiar with this process. The process is actually exactly the same. It just looks a little bit different. We're going to be using business bank statements. Let's just do Bank of America. Here's a number. Just put your account name. It's in the name of an LLC. You put the borrower's business name. And then what is your most recent statement date? Let's just do March 31st. And then this is where you want to put information about the borrower's business in this box. Anything you put here is going to help the income desk do their analysis and assign an expense factor in underwriting. So you want to say Mr. Brady was a former football player. All right. Excuse my misspellings. So Mr. Brady now has his own business and he teaches and coaches teens and young adults and does athletic conditioning, okay? He is a sole proprietor. Any information that you have about the borrower's business is going to be helpful at this stage. Okay, so let's create our income desk request. So here's the information about the borrower's business here. This is where you upload your self-employment questionnaire. Okay, you already have your questionnaire filled out. You ask the borrower the questions on the phone the first time you spoke to them and you took their application. So you upload your questionnaire here. And this is where you start uploading your bank statements. Oops, skipped February. So you just upload all your bank statements here. And then this will get kicked off to the income desk for the analysis. Now your account executive will receive the analysis from the income desk, and then they should be sending that off to you. And that's a great opportunity for you to have a conversation with your account executive about large deposits, transfers, anything that the two of you see on the account that may potentially come up in underwriting so that you can get those questions answered right away before the file is even submitted. Having the information available for the underwriter just makes the underwriting process and the condition clearing process a lot smoother. So if you see transfers or large deposits or just things that don't look consistent, when we're doing bank statement loans, what we look for is consistency. So if you see inconsistent items on the bank statements, you want to address those right away with your AE and between the loan officer or processor. Okay, so once we get everything uploaded, let's say that Mr. Brady keeps his two businesses, say he has another business and he keeps those statements separate. If you want to add a separate account, you can do that here. So you can add as many accounts here as you want. The borrower has 6 different business accounts. You can upload that here. I'm going to cancel out of here. And then over in the bottom right-hand corner, you just submit for review. Yes, do you want to submit it for a review? Yes, we do. Would you like to do another account? No, I don't. Again, this is a test environment, so I don't know if the functionality is exactly the same, but if this button is grayed out, then it will already be submitted. Okay. The next screen is your document upload screen. As you can see here in your registration, there are some items that need to be tended to. You can see that they are colored red. That means you need to go back and fix it. If they're colored green, you're free to proceed. So if you're at this stage and you've already pre-qualified the borrower and you're ready to start uploading some documents like the credit report, your fee input form, an estimate, the regular minimum submission requirements for Home Express, you can do that here if you want and just park that condition here and wait for your income analysis to come back. Or you can just navigate away and say, okay, on to the next. For this demonstration, let's go back into our items that need to be addressed and let's look at those. Okay, looks like we're just missing some information here. Let's fill that in. We want to see all green over here on the side. Okay, and you want to save your changes that you make. And then you also want to update your URLA. The updating the URLA button, what that does is it updates our system on the back end. So you always want to make sure that you save your work that you're adjusting, and you also want to update your URLA because it is saving on the back end. Okay, whoops, none of our declarations were filled out. So let's go through and fill these out now. Yes, we're going to occupy the property because we're doing consumer purpose. No, this is a purchase. No. Let's just fill all these out. Again, if you upload a 3.4 and you forget to do your declarations, you have an opportunity to come in here in the portal and just make the adjustments so you can move on to get the loan submitted. Okay, update URLA, yes. There we go. Okay, so we have all green over here. Great news. So now we're just waiting for our income desk analysis. At Home Express, in order to submit the loan, you do have to have your income analysis done. We need to make sure that obviously before you go through the process of submitting the loan all the way through, that you do have your income done and ready to go. Does anybody have any questions on the income desk analysis part and how to get that screen to show? If you do, put it in the Q&A.
Sarah, there is one question.
Sure.
It's in the chat, but it says if you have a client that is doing 2 or more loans at one time, is there a way the documents can transfer without you loading to each file?
You can, if you don't want to upload. Yes and no is the answer to that question. The income desk does have to have an analysis done for that registration. So your bank statements may potentially be able to be transferred over, but it really to make the process a lot smoother if you are doing two loans for the borrower at the same time, if it were me, I would just register them both and upload them both at the same time. And because the income analysis is going to stay with that loan number or that loan registration. So that's how it moves through our system, is it stays in that file. So, I mean, your account manager or AE may be able to assist you with getting that copied over, but that may potentially take a little bit longer than you just uploading it yourself, to be quite honest.
So the follow-up to that is what about other documents, not necessarily the income analysis?
For like the submission documents,
Hmm.
well, again, these are two separate loans, right? And I don't believe that the loans are going to be identical in nature. Maybe if you're doing an investor X loan where it's a business purpose loan, where the documents are probably going to be close to being the same. You had four at one time. Okay, I see. Yeah, when you're doing 4 packs, 10 packs, yes, that can get very cumbersome. I mean, that's not going to be an everyday occurrence that you're going to be submitting 4 packs and 10 packs. I would definitely, initiate the assistance of your Home Express team, your account executive, and your account manager to try to assist you, because yes, that can be cumbersome to upload 4 sets of everything to 4 different registrations. So we're here to help. We're not here to make the process more difficult. If you need help, just ask. Everyone's here to help pitch in and help make the process easier for you. Somebody had a question on mortgage history.
I think that, Sarah, I think that was when we were getting the disqualifications and we were saying like, hey, maybe do we have to put in the mortgage history? We didn't have any mortgage history selected.
Yeah, you do not. So I believe that disqualification I was getting was on an FHA, so I
Yeah,
didn't need to put in mortgage history or select first time home buyer. And if you forget to select that stuff, not a big deal. After the webinar, I will go on and see why the FHA was being disqualified, because I wasn't able to troubleshoot that right then and there.
perfect. That's it.
Okay, great. So let's go back to the home screen and let's go to our submitted loans, okay? Let's say we have a loan that is already submitted and it's approved and it has conditions on it, right? Let's not forget about our processors. So if we want to refer back to the loan, you can go into the loan in your submitted pipeline and see all of your loan information right here across the top. It has your AE, it has the name of your broker office, who the loan officer is, who your processor is. And it even has over here, it has the current rate that the loan is disclosed at. And you can also see your LLPAs here. So if you just roll your mouse over this, it'll show you your LLPAs. If you're like, gosh, I can't remember what I registered that at. Was it cash out? Was it rate and term? You can just roll your mouse over right here and it'll show you what your LLPAs are. Has your loan status, your loan amount, your LTV. And if this loan was locked, that field would be filled right here and it would show your lock expiration date. And over here is your borrower and your property information. So you can navigate through your loan on the left navigation pane, okay? Appraisal information, if we're going to require any appraisal review products, or if you're ordering the appraisal through any of our approved AMCs, the completion date will be shown here when that review product is due back. This is the pricing, liabilities, and income screen. If you need to rework your DTI and you want to change your payoffs or do something like that, and you need that information as to where the underwriter left off with the income and the debts, you can find that information here on this screen, okay? Here's your LLPAs again. Here's the current LTV. Here's the P&I payment that we have in our system. There's the FICO score and which the loan is being qualified at. Again, we're in a testing environment. Not everything is porting over. And here's the current DTI that we have in our system. Now, if you're showing in your LOS that your DTI is much lower or much higher, you may want to reach out to your account executive and say, it looks like we're not paying off a debt, or I do want to pay off this debt. The borrower wants to pay off their automobile. Can we go in and do a COC to make that change to pay off a debt? So you'll see under our liabilities that are listed here, which ones are being omitted. The ones that are in parentheses are obviously being omitted. And then down here is your income details. So if your borrower has bonus income, any other types of income, it'll be shown right down here. So you can just match this screen up to your LOS system so you're on the same page with what we have. So this is your contact screen. This is where anybody that's involved with the transaction, as far as from the broker contacts to the Home Express contacts, you're going to see that information right here on the screen. So who the loan officer is, who the processor is, who your AE is, who your account manager is, and also who your underwriter is. If you have a question for the underwriter about the file, you can certainly reach out to your underwriter and talk to that person. This is where the housing expense also shows, is on this screen. It has your PITIA broken down here on this screen. So if you want to double check what your property taxes are coming in at, what your homeowner's insurance is coming in at, or what your HOA dues are, you can select and view that information here. Important dates. This is a very important screen if you do a lot of purchases that have a longer lock time, 60-day locks, 90-day locks. You always want to double check your important dates screen, because this will tell you when your documents are expiring. So your income docs, your asset docs, your credit report. Say you've been working with a borrower for 4 months and you pulled their credit 5 months ago and you submitted the loan and the credit hasn't been updated. That date is going to show up here on this screen. Pricing. This screen for pricing is going to look exactly the same whether you're doing a scenario, a registration, or if you're actually in an approved loan. You can come in here and reprice your loan based on the day that it was locked. So when we go to pricing, this is the screen that shows. Okay, it tells you the parameters of the loan currently. If you click on this more details right here, it'll expand and show what your LLPAs are and what your price is set at. So it doesn't look right to you and you don't know where to go to look, you just expand this here. Okay, if you want to reprice your loan, or even if you want to go in and lock it, you can do that here. Okay, I want to reprice this loan. So you just hit the price button. And then you can see the parameters that are currently in our system. So the fields in here that you see are a reflection of what we have in our system. So once the underwriter has approved the loan, this is what you're looking at. This is how the loan is currently approved. Now, let's say that you want to quote the borrower a 40-year IO, or you want to change a prepaid term, or you want to change something about the loan, and you can't do it in here. Can't do it right here because all the fields are grayed out, and the fields are grayed out because the loan is currently approved. The way you can play with your pricing is very simple. You just go create another pricing scenario. You can create another pricing scenario based on your parameters. And the way I do it to make it easy for myself I just open another browser tab and I have my two windows open and I create my new scenario and I have my approved loan. And then you can go in here and play with it. Over here to the left, if you've already locked your loan, you just choose the day that you locked it. Let's say we locked it on February 15th at 3 p.m. And then you'll be working off the February 15th rate sheet because that was the day that your loan was locked. And you can go in here and have at it. You can change the scenario 10, 15, 20 times and give the borrower all the options they're looking for. And then you can go right back into your pipeline and you call your AE and say, hey, Sarah, I want to do a COC on this. I want to change the loan amount to this. I want to do a 40-year IO. The borrower wants to pay off this debt. And I want to change my compensation to 1.5%. Okay, no problem. Your AE will get that changed for you. And once that COC is completed, you can come back in here to the pricing screen. Once it loads, you can see all your changes on your loan parameters, and then you can request to lock. This is where you want to lock your loan. It's very easy. Once your parameters are changed, you just lock. I don't know if this is going to work because we're in a testing environment, but let's try it. Yeah. This is really good. I'm glad this popped up. So if you haven't updated your pricing in a while, it's been a day, a week, 2 weeks, 2 months, you always want to reprice your loan, right? Maybe something has changed. Maybe you've done a COC. Whenever you go to hit that lock button, you always want to make sure you have the most recent pricing before you lock. Maybe rates went up, maybe they went down, we don't know. You always want to have most current pricing. You go in, reprice the loan. The parameters have already been changed from your account executive. You just hit search. Okay, I'm going to select Prime X. I want to do 699 at half point cost. That's great pricing. Let's export. It'll show you what's changing, right? It'll show your differences. I'm going from Core X to Prime X, and I'm going from 98.5 to 99.5. A lot less cost. Okay, so once this exports, okay, great, we're successful. We've updated our pricing. It's been a while since we priced it. So let's request our lock. Sure you want to lock? Yes, I'm sure. Sometimes this can take up to a minute, so don't panic that it's not working. You just it's communicating over the internet, so you just want to give it a minute to do its thing, but it will lock. Go get a drink of water, go do something else. See, it locked. So now your loan is locked, and give it a couple minutes for the system to update. Now you can see your expiration date has ported into the top of your loan, and you can see when the loan is now going to have the lock expiration. If you ever wanted to reprice or if you needed to extend, you do that here also. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on this? One other thing I wanted to point out, you can see who your underwriter is. Where's the contacts? Here we go. So if your underwriter is listed here and you go back to your pricing screen, If you had a change on your loan while it was in underwriting, like DTI, loan amount, something changed during underwriting, let's say your appraisal came in lower and that changed your loan amount, you can see here when your underwriter last updated pricing. So it will have the underwriter's name right here. XConnect user is you or your account executive. So if you see your underwriter, if that was the most recent change, you will know that the loan changed somehow when it was being underwritten. And when you go to reprice, it will show your comparison of what it was and what it is now when you reprice it. If you do want to print your lot confirmation just so you can see where you're at, you can do that here. Just fill in your information where you want it to be emailed to, and it will be emailed to you and you can save it in your file. So there's a lot more features in here. If any of you are used to using our old portal, there's a lot more user-friendly features in here. You just got to get in here and play with it. Like, you're not going to break it. You can click around, click all over the place, and just get used to using it. The notes section, this is reflective of our internal system. So if there's any notes made on the file from underwriting or setup or anybody at Home Express that has assisted on your loan throughout the process, you will see those notes here. Here's your condition screen, okay? This is how we satisfy our conditions. So all of our conditions are outstanding. Say we want to upload, start satisfying our conditions to get to docs. I'm just going to use the same documents that we uploaded for the income desk. Okay, you will see that that condition changes to pending sign off. When the conditions have been cleared by the underwriter, it'll say cleared. So let's upload a few more of our conditions. If you did have any conditions that were moved prior to funding, those will show down here.
And Sarah, we have just about 2 more minutes left. I can't believe the
Oh,
hour has flown by.
it
And there,
did.
yes, and there is one other question that I see in the
Okay.
chat. It is, where are the lock pricing and loan origination compensation displayed?
So for me, normally, you mean the LLPAs for the lock? Is that what you're asking?
Um, I think I think that's on the lock confirmation as well. Like, what is it locked at and what is the price? Like up at the top, we can see the price there too with the LLPAs.
Yeah, so once it's locked, if you're unsure what your LLPAs are at, or if there was a change in underwriting, you can always roll your mouse over here and see what your LLPAs are. Or you can go back over to your pricing screen and you can expand it here. So you can do it up here in the upper right-hand corner. You can always, at any time when you're in the loan, you can check your LLPAs, or you can do it here on the actual pricing screen. You can see where you're at with your LLPAs. And you'll know whether or not your loan is locked here. Now, let's say I want to see what the loan was last disclosed at. I want to look at my disclosures, like what actually the borrower received. So you can come over here to your Documents tab, and I'm just going to try to speed up a little bit. Come over here to your Documents tab, and you can scroll through all the documents that are visible in the file. So if we disclose, if you do a COC, your lock confirmation goes out, all of that information is going to show right here, and you can just click on it. This is a testing environment, so I don't have a real loan estimate in here, but you can view your document, you can zoom in, you can download it if you'd like, you can print it and save it in your file if you keep a separate file. If you want to just double check your documents, if you want to see if the notice of intent to proceed was signed, you can see that here. Speaking of notice of intent, we do get this question quite a bit. Did the borrower sign their disclosures? There are fields for that here in the portal. Notice of intent to proceed date right here. Intent to proceed date will populate once the borrower acknowledges their disclosures. Initial disclosures e-signed. Sometimes borrowers, they go through the disclosure package, they sign, click, 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 and then they, for some reason, they do not sign the intent to proceed. If you have your initial disclosures field populated, but this is not populated, you want to go back to the borrower and say, hey, you didn't acknowledge your notice of intent to proceed. If you don't check these boxes, these fields, you may potentially have a broker cure at the end. So you want to make sure that your intent to proceed date is completed and that your initial disclosures have been signed. Your estimated COE is going to be on here, and then your closing disclosure date is also here. So any of the important dates for disclosure purposes, you're going to find right on the loan information screen. I just want to leave it open to any questions. We are over our hour. So does anybody have any questions on anything? I did want to show you one more item in here. If your account executive is not available and you do have some questions or you need a form or you need something, it is available in our resource center here. Because this is a test environment, I don't have the real documents in here, so I'm just going to log in to a live one. I'm going to go into the resource center. So here's our resource center. This is the actual live resource center. If your AE is not available, it's Sunday night and you're working on a loan and you aren't sure how many reserves are required for this borrower, you can come into our non-QM program descriptions here and you can preview the program descriptions. Okay. This has a lot of very good information. You can double check maximum DTI if you're not sure how much cash out somebody can get. If you're just unsure on some parameter of a loan, if maybe they're a first-time home buyer, you can always refer back to your program guide here if you're not able to reach your account executive right at that moment and you need to have that question answered right then and there. So this is very easy to navigate. It's set up, you know, how a loan file is set up, you know, basic parameters, qualification parameters, borrower information, credit, assets, collateral, right? This is how the program guide is set up. So you can just scroll through here. Here's the income section, property section. You can go right to that section that you're looking for and look for the information that you need. So this is very helpful, the resource center. You can always refer back to this. If you need any forms, if you're doing a business purpose loan, you need the ACH form. You want to change your broker compensation since rates have been declining. That's becoming very popular. A lot of brokers are updating their compensation. COC form, you know, the HOA cert, self-employment questionnaire. There's also a link here for tutorials for our portal. They are linked out here on our YouTube tutorials. So if you forget or don't have access to the webinar or you want to rewatch the webinar, you can go to our YouTube page and you can rewatch this webinar, or you can see some quick tutorial videos about navigating through the new XConnect portal.
Sarah, I know we're over, so we're going to try to wrap this up here. But one question that is in the chat: how can I get my credentials to be able to get to your website?
Yeah, you just need to reach out to your Home Express account executive. So your Home Express account executive will set you up with credentials to log in. They can set you up or your processor up. If you're not fully approved yet, we can get an account executive to reach out to you. You can, I think the marketing email address is on the webinar contact information. So you can always reach out to marketing@homexmortgage.com and we can certainly get an account executive to reach out to you right away if you're not approved with us yet. But yeah, there's many people available here to help you. So anything that you guys need, we want to make this process smooth and easy for you. We're very excited about our new portal. It's been a long time coming and there's been a lot of hard work on it, and we're glad to have each and every one of you as our broker partners and processor partners, and we look forward to doing lots of more loans with you in the future.
Awesome, Sarah. Thank you so much. And now, let's talk about next month's webinar, right? So it will be Thursday, the 9th of May at 10 a.m. at our typical time, jumping into the DSCR pool as
This
we're
will be
getting ready
great.
for
This
spring and summer.
this is on topic because there's so many loan officers out there that are transitioning to non-QM. And if you're new to a DSCR and you're not sure how to do a DSCR loan, like how do I fill out my IRLA? Um, how do I qualify the loan? What is required? Ordering the appraisal. We're going to go over all of that information for you. So if you're uneasy and you're just starting to do DSCR loans, don't miss it.
Excellent, thank you. Just lastly, as Sarah was mentioning, if you are already an approved broker with us, thank you so much. We appreciate your partnership. If you are not an approved broker, we look forward to having you join our family. So you can do it very easily. You can go online and to our website, homexmortgage.com, and you can apply directly on the website, actually. And then, as we were saying, here's Sarah's information. So we're all here to help you. If you have any questions, you could reach out to the marketing email address, but as well, this is Sarah's information too.
We'll get you
So
to the place you need to be.
that's exactly right. We're here. We're here to help you. We're here to answer all your questions. Sarah, thank you so much for your time today. This was very, very
Thank you for your
valuable
help.
information. Great demo. Very
Thank you.
exciting stuff. And everybody who was on the call, thank you for your time today. I know we went over, but very good information. Thanks so much for spending your morning or your afternoon with us. We will be giving you a copy of this deck as well a copy of the recording in the next couple of days. So keep an eye out in your email for that. But thank you, everybody. Have a
Thank
great
you.
April. Thanks, Sarah. We'll see everybody next month. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.